reach out now if you want to. You can take 5 seconds. So if you're doing your Whatnot Live, try to also include your YouTube Live, and I'm going to tell you why. Down at the bottom, you can actually purchase a YouTube marketing video. I basically stopped offering them, and I know people still want them and need them, so that's what you see on the screen there. All of the sellers that you see those photos of, you can see their short videos on YouTube, and that has gotten them additional views. One seller used it to like really announce they were going to be in a specific category, and both YouTube, Google, and Whatnot got the message loud and clear. If you type in that seller's name and they are not live on Whatnot, it will take you to the beauty category and start showing you shows that are live. So that seller really nailed it. I get some of my best ideas from Whatnot sellers, by the way. And the woman whose image is the first image, she used YouTube short video to announce a brand launch. And that was so smart because you don't really know who exactly people are based on their names. And there are a lot of sound alike, look-alikes. And she realized she was doing so well selling that she was going to have to expand. So she wanted to rebrand it to not necessarily be her name as the username, but she picked a brand name, Willow Skye, SKYE is how it's spelled. So, and we talked about that too. If you use an uncommon spelling, it has to be very easy for somebody to find you. So Stay Home to Shop is exactly the same spelled everywhere on different platforms you use. So if you want to see if I've set up an account, if I'm active on that platform, you can just type Stay Home, TO, Shop, all one word, and it should pull up some results. I'd be curious if you didn't find something on some of the bigger ones, and you can always message me and let me know if you get something weird. Back to YouTube. The reason that the views have spiked up is because I've just been putting up little live snippets. And again, we are allowed to use these. Now, with some of the sellers, I have a really good working, collegial friendship. So if I know in advance I'm going to do it, sometimes I will tell them ahead of time. And this is where I want to use a seller as an example. For those of you who are logged into your second device on YouTube, you can type in Jessica, so Jessica, the letter C, the letter J, hyphen, sunshine, just like it sounds, N, the letter N, RAYZ. Test my memory and see if I got that one correct. But that should pull up a page that basically doesn't have videos, but it has just a starting group of subscribers and really, really close to getting enough subscribers to meet YouTube's requirement to do everything I'm telling you about here and being able to go live on a mobile device. So if you guys could subscribe to Jessica CJ, that would be amazing. There are a lot of Jessica CJs on YouTube. So it's dash sunshine, the letter N, RAYZ. I think that is the correct one, but hopefully somebody will get some subscribers out of this. And so the key is Jessica CJ does a lot of craft demonstrations, and she is so good to work with as a seller, also as a customer. Now, here's the thing. We don't really have an easy way for her demonstration shows to be saved or available for people to watch, except if she can get those out on YouTube. So she's working. Thank you, Kat. You sent me a message. I will definitely respond. And I appreciate you being proactive. So I'm just playing around here. The other thing I want to do is I'm just playing around with the different features. Okay. Who else? Who else do I recognize? Ray Resell. That looks familiar. Okay. I sometimes miss names because they go by so fast. Getting back to you're going to use a because they both show video over the internet. That's what they have in common. Whatnot is a selling platform, and YouTube is an information/entertainment platform. And that's why they make such a perfect pair. And when you're doing a craft demo, you kind of want to have both audiences, right? I mean, am I completely wacky in saying that? Put some W's in the chat if any of this is making sense. You actually have to type the letter W. Thanks, Kat. I know you're busy. I don't see any W's coming through. Okay, well. So the point with Jessica CJ, maybe watch this on replay, is it came to my attention. This is so super smart. She can use YouTube videos 3 different ways. She hasn't quite done it yet, but she's working toward doing it. Thank you. I see what you make it. Oh my gosh, you can copy this idea. You can go for it. She can use the YouTube live feature 3 different ways, and one of them is for replays, people who can't make her regularly scheduled day and time. The other is for marketing. You know, if she wants to take little bits and pieces, she can make shorts out of that and put those out there. She might find some new customers that way. And what she can really do is use it as a follow along during the show. So if people come in and out, which is so common, people love to scroll shop on Whatnot. Right now, I am very passively selling the pinned item, so I'm not holding something up, but people love to be bidding. So, you know, we have to know that as sellers. You know, let them go do a little bidding, maybe win something, then come back and do the next step in her craft project. If she's got it on YouTube live at the same time, they can just do an instant replay. They can just pull the little time lever back, 30 seconds or for whatever they missed. If she's doing something that's a little complicated, because she is very good, but sometimes you've really got to see the detail because she's working with like beads and wire and, just teeny tiny little twists and things. That is so helpful. So having a YouTube video available while you have your Whatnot live show running actually is another way that the audience gets more out of that show. But we have to tell them these things because a lot of people aren't using it. Did anybody know that you could just do a YouTube live and about Whatnot? Like, did anybody know that before you came to this show? The thing about the features that Whatnot has, as well as YouTube, the thing about that is they're really powerful, but you have to know they're there in the first place, and then you kind of have to know how to use them. I sat in on a seller training, and you can see exactly what I am talking about on my YouTube channel because I have the live and what the seller trainings have always said in the chat. Could we please see the chat with the video? Because it makes a lot more sense when you're seeing the question or what the conversation is about. And this is seller audience, so they're using the feature and having side conversations and stuff. They want the chat. I have that video up. You can watch it. It's the Whatnot Sellers video, and I did it with the chat. I can actually clear off the chat. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see something disappear. After my keyboard does. It's like, can I clear the chat off to the side? I don't know how to do that. I wish I knew how to do that. But if I'm in the audience not running the show, I can just push the chat away and you'll get a clear image. Again, this is all about experimenting and seeing what works best for, for me, for Whatnot, for my customers, for my audience. And I will also mention, as I'm talking about some of these specific results, because some of them are just amazing, like thousands of % results coming from YouTube. Your results will be different. And that's a good thing because YouTube definitely personalizes our experience and our, kind of our connected audience, if you will. And so it's going to be different than mine. And so in a couple weeks, come back, we can compare notes. And then we'll really start to figure out what makes it different, what works, what doesn't work. So, the more you YouTube, the better it's going to be for your business. And that's that. Getting back to that, I want to make sure I didn't skip any questions. Did I skip your question? Whoever you are. If you're watching on YouTube, the answer is yes, I skipped your question. I can only keep up with one chat, and I'm keeping up with the Whatnot chat. And that's really true always in my shows. I'm keeping up with the Whatnot chat. So I appreciate you. But if you're watching on YouTube, also get on Whatnot. You don't have to pay anything to get the app, and you'll get $15 to spend. And I put a promo link in the description box. I cannot make this easier. The only thing I could do is push the button for you, and I can't do that. So use the promo link, get your 15 shopping. Oh, excuse me. Rewind. I just flubbed. I put the seller referral code in there. So your first week selling on Whatnot, as soon as you're approved, they will match $150 of sales. So you basically just double your money by starting to sell in that first week, which is kind of amazing. So that's the link in the description box for this video. And if you had to choose, I would tell you choose 150 instead of the 15, but either or, it's okay. Get on Whatnot, because then you'll see the full features that you don't see on YouTube. And also keep YouTube running, because it's an additional way you get more out of these shows. Another thing you could be doing is scrolling on YouTube while you're focused on your main show with Whatnot. So having a couple different devices running, I think, is always useful. As I mentioned, Jessica CJ can use Whatnot and YouTube 3 different ways. One is for while she's doing the video, the customers can replay any part that they missed, so she doesn't constantly have to reintroduce where they're at, what they're doing. And she can also use it for marketing, and she can also use it for people who didn't make the show because of day and time. And that's kind of amazing, because Whatnot gives us the ability to sell wherever it's approved to sell all over the world. So right now, without knowing this, most likely I'm touching an international audience. If you're outside the US, please, say hi or something. But we've had that happen. I've had sellers from Canada come into the show. I'm trying to think of where else. Somewhere in Europe, for sure. And I see a question or comment. Let's take a look. So Studio Midnight, one thing you didn't know was when you tried to get the 150 match was that you need 5 people to buy from you that first show. I did not. I'm at some point, maybe I knew it, but I didn't even think about that. So that's a good thing to know. And it's only going to help if you already have your YouTube going, right? The fine print on some of this stuff is just like a lot to take in all at once, especially if you're new. But what I wanted to mention is, I had to think of what exactly it was, but there was like a feature that is commonly used by sellers, but then there was a newer seller who didn't even know about it. And when I go back and I kind of rewatch some of the trainings, they kind of get into the basics. They tell you kind of the basics, but they don't really tell you how to use these tools, because they are very powerful. And like any power tool, if you're not careful, you could cut your finger off. So you want to learn this stuff. And the best way to do it if you're recently approved as a new seller is start selling in that first 7 days. Do it 24/7. Leave your show active. Like if you've got to run to the bathroom, that's okay. You can run a 2-minute auction and put an item there. Or even longer, I think. But sell 24/7. You did well, but you had a couple customers you wish you had known and could have shouted it out. And yes, YouTube would have definitely helped. Right. And I'll tell you, when I signed up as a seller, because another thing that I've heard, and some of these are urban legends, some of them I believe, I have heard whichever link you choose to sign up for, whether you choose the $15, to spend, or you choose the $150 match as a seller on the platform, that is the one you get. You don't get both. That's what I've heard. So this is going to be one of the rare shows that I'm steering people toward that seller link, because I think they might get some real money doing that. And it is a good idea. I agree. We're like twins, Studio 12 AM. And if you guys ever want to shout out your shows during this or any of my shows, I am totally fine with that. We are selling things on the internet to strangers. You can't be shy. Is it Joey? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Treasures. I think I owe you an email or something. I think I was talking to you about something. I was talking to somebody about like co-hosting a future episode or upcoming episode. But I could be completely making that up. Actually, thank you. That reminded me. Zoe, thank you. Okay. I know there's a story behind the name. So the co-host feature there, oh my gosh, you guys, if you go to my recent videos, I have found so many good examples on Whatnot of people really, really doing their best. And sometimes they don't even know that it could be easier because Whatnot has some enhancements and features built in. So co-hosting, basically, if Zoe wanted to come on as co-host, I would just click the icon next to the chat. And one of the options is invite to co-host. They can say yay or nay, yes or no, but I can do that. And if they say yes, you're going to see the screen split. And I'll be on one part of the screen, they'll be on the other. Things to keep in mind as sellers. Okay, as sellers, please. When that happens, you do kind of slightly need to readjust your framing. And this is important if you're actively selling product. You need to make sure the product is visible. So just know that the positioning might change a little bit. So either take a step closer to the camera or step back. And that's really what I wanted to mention, because there was another seller who was doing a really, really good job plowing through a bunch of, low starting price items, but exactly the stuff people should be buying right now, like seasonal merchandise that is perfect for exactly right now. I was totally impressed. Had never met the seller before, don't really know the seller, but I was just so impressed. I'm like, I'm going to actually put this on YouTube. You need to see this. This is an example of somebody who really knows how to say themselves, wouldn't consider their selling skills 100%. And she was very receptive to feedback during the show, which I think is so helpful. If you can't see me, if the lighting's bad, if you can't hear me, please speak up. Put it in the chat. We need to know these things. You're not going to hurt my feelings. You're going to help people that way if there's something that I need to know about. Bottom line is, even if you knew about the co-hosting feature that it's possible to do, I don't know where you would learn how to use it or what it's useful for, because the Naked Maple popped in, and she is a perfect example. This is like Whatnot wish day. Oh my gosh. I wish I could get $10,000 in sales before the end of this month on Whatnot. I really, really wish that, because now it's like everything I'm asking for is coming true. So the Naked Maple and I did a co-hosting show, and she went out to a post office out in the field while I was hosting a shipping tutorial show, seller support. And she was trying to show people the prices at the post office, how expensive they are, because Whatnot has some really low shipping prices if you compare those. And I'm not going to give it all away. You can watch that video on my YouTube channel. but it escalated pretty fast. But you made it out, and apparently you have outrun the postal inspectors. So good for you. You're fantastic. And you sound so dramatic. I'm going to tell you where I got that footage. Because the Whatnot footage I can use under the terms of service. There's also what's called fair use if you're using somebody else's video or even music and stuff. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving legal advice. Look this up. You can watch hours of information here. The video of the postal inspectors running towards someone, with their guns out, that's actually their public relations video. That is the image they want the public to see. So I can't do it more than they can do it. But she's not in any physical danger. And then there's a line that's really funny. You should watch these videos because you'll catch on to this stuff. Where one of them says, sometimes people compare us to the FBI or ask if we're like the FBI, and they say, well, it's the FBI is more like us. Oh my gosh. So follow your postal rules and regulations. I've been joking and saying if you misuse a shipping supply, the FBI is going to show up and burn your house down. Now, probably the postal inspectors will. Okay, there we go. Full circle. I'm finally finishing some of these stories with your help. You've always wanted to have a chat with SWAT. Have you ever wanted to co-host with me? Because I took some of your shopping video and I put it out there. I never ever put people's seller videos to embarrass them. And here is what I want to do. However, I think because Whatnot is such a huge playing field and there are so many different types of shows, if anybody else wants to play around with the co-host, we have time here because I'm not seeing too many questions. I have another segment I can run as well. So this is going to be an information-packed episode. Okay, so the Naked Maple does live shopping where she'll go into thrift stores, for example, and she'll show what the products are selling for and what she can, sell it for reasonably, taking into account fees, taxes, shipping, the whole everything. She has a very fair pricing model. And watch her shows. Watch her shows. And she seems to just, I don't know, she's like has laser vision. She knows how to spot things. So I used a couple of her live shopping videos just as YouTube lives. Because again, no matter how many times I tell people to sign up for Whatnot, a lot more people are going to take a pass on that, but they still watch YouTube. 1 billion hours are going to be watched today, and that will be among 6 billion videos. 6 billion videos. And the Naked Maple is going to clarify something. So live thrifters, actually you can read the comments, so I don't even have to tidy it up. To be honest, us live thrifters should triple seeing the work behind the scenes in terms of price. You price how you price. But I really liked the fact that you kind of explained it. And then when you got your total with sales tax, it was like, and you were surprised at how high the tax had become. And frankly, that happens frequently now. I live in a very low cost of living state, but some certain areas, their sales tax is over 10%. I try to shoot for less than 9, but we're all paying sales tax. Okay, good news. And it's proof you did pay for the item, and it's also proof you paid the tax. So you're free and clear. So there are so many benefits to having that video not stop with Whatnot. Inviting people to kind of sample this, even though it doesn't make sense because you're really not seeing all the features at work. I'm reminding myself, you are seeing the buttons that normally you wouldn't if I use the integration. But this time I just used YouTube. And I can explain how to do that if people would need a little more detail there. Whatnot shipping is incredible. You had a family member buy on Whatnot from you, so they don't have to pay the insane shipping costs for a large item. Yeah, and it probably character limited you. You were selling an item on Whatnot that was particularly large, and it was just a bonus that they got that super savings on their shipping. What a family reunion. When you put it out on the internet, people are going to internet with it. Thank you, Studio. 12 a.m. has the live YouTube on the laptop. And put in your comments. Let us know what you're seeing. Let's stir the pot. Ha, 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 ha. Wait a second, because I'm trying to think. I said something that was not meant to be like any kind of shade, but it came across that way. I forget whose show it was. Anyway. As sellers, we have to understand when people are shopping, they want to have fun. That's the key. Of course, you have people who are hate watching, but that is... And if you really want to hate watch, I have days full of YouTube videos that you can go watch and comment on. You will not have to change the channel for probably at least a week. So you can watch my YouTube videos. But the key is, we always kind of take things with a critical, like are they, taking a dig at me or whatever, and a lot of times they're not, and most often it's just we don't really want to take the time to explain every question and comment. The questions that have come up most this year I have seen in chats in all categories relate to shipping prices. So I am glad the Naked Maple is aware and can explain that Whatnot really does have discounted shipping. The live stream is glitchy on YouTube. You're wondering if it's on your end only? Yes, or somebody else can pull it up. This is a problem that I've had in the past, where I've tried to do it both on the same device simultaneously. So it's good to know that. Yes, telling me any issues is helpful, because I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to just assume it's all done and then tell people go watch the YouTube video if they can't even see what I'm talking about. So thank you for saying that. Normally, I would tell somebody, if this is what your YouTube live is, just stop it and start over. Because this is a Whatnot live show, we'll just let the quality be whatever it is. And this is using YouTube to multicast. So basically what I do is I go to YouTube. There's an app. You can get it from the App Store. At the bottom of the front screen is a plus sign. That's how you add any content. And then one of those choices is live. The first screen, customize your title, customize your description, especially if you're going to have a $150 link in there. Please put that right at the top. I've tried to be a good example now. And on the next screen, it's going to warn you almost like you're instant going live. What it's really telling you is it's going to grab the sound. Hello, Customer Burning. If you'd like to test out co-hosting, I know you're good. So the sound is actually going to come from the phone microphone. That's good to know, because most of us always have our devices like silent. And there are a few shows that I uploaded on YouTube, and I'll own my mistakes, that have no sound. And the funny thing is, I wasn't aware of this at the time. People still watch them. So ideally, you would have sound, but even if you didn't, people still watch it. frankly, the glitchy video, there are going to be some people who just listen to this, and that's fine. Whatever you need to get from YouTube will try to serve you exactly that. But we've got to put it up there for people to see it. And you said, hey, okay, so your friend who is Native Tree Studios, I think. And I think he uses his real life name, Zach. Anyway, I tested a few clips of him. I did a short that got a lot of views because he has no social media presence on YouTube. So this is totally just he could just basically be a hired actor or model. Like, he has nobody looking for him. So that is a very good sign, though. If you can get an audience to watch a short and you haven't really made yourself known, it is a good sign that whatever you're doing or however you're explaining stuff, it's working. Because sometimes on Whatnot, it might be working, but you're not seeing it come through on the sale side. And that can get frustrating sometimes. 100% he is awesome. Yes. And I think he's really getting into his groove where he can just, like, effortlessly do a show. But he just has a natural presentation style that I told him would be so good for social media, specifically YouTube. And I don't work for YouTube. I don't get paid anything if you guys upload YouTube videos. So use it for your benefit and to help other people in the world, please. But I did try to tell him, hey, he's in a category that doesn't have a huge audience, which is woodworking. And it's perfect for Whatnot because he's showing why you want to be able to see things live. He's making custom furniture. He's taking specific orders. He's asking, he's offering to cut wood to exact measurements. That is, thank you. Like, that is just something you just can't get any other place or see. And he's showing it. And he just has a really good presentation style. I don't know him personally. I never, ever endorse any social person 100%. I probably should start saying Whatnot Seller also, but I'm not trying to be shady. I'm just trying to be real. But he told me the reason he doesn't do YouTube or want to do YouTube is because of editing. So to test this theory, I put one of his shows up and people watch it. I don't know right this second what the view count is, but I'll give it a little bit of time and then I can tell him, well, maybe you could just do your shows while you're doing your Whatnot thing. Content creation is definitely time consuming. Exactly. That's from Custom Wood Burning. So Custom Wood Burning, tell me what you sell, please. We'd love to share. We'd love to share this information with the world. And while you do that, I'm also going to tell you something. So another reason why I think people like to see Whatnot through a different lens is because there are skeptics. So Custom Wood Burning does heat gun art. So do you guys see above my head anywhere a logo that matches the hat? Please let me know. I see it on my preview screen, but I'm not assuming. If I wanted this logo put onto a cutting board, for example, I could, thank you for verifying that. Custom Wood Burning said nope. So what that is really, and again, we're just experimenting. There's like a placeholder where if I want to kind of be inset into the video, like maybe I'm going to do live reaction or something, that's really what it's for, where it would do a camera shot. But I think because it's doing the camera shot for the full thing, that's why I'm just seeing it, with a logo. But that little red dot tells me we're still live. No matter what the finished quality is, it's still running. And that's the other thing about lives. You can always get better. So a standard long form YouTube video, anything that's longer than 3 minutes, what people normally think about if you say, hey, did you see that YouTube video blank, about, like making your own fast food sandwiches or something for a fraction of the price. People are going to imagine a standard horizontal layout. That's what's going to come to mind, because we've seen that for more than 10 years, more than 20 years actually. That's long form content. And that usually does require a lot of editing and a lot of deliberate editing, because once you lose somebody in the video, they're not going to come back and pick it up in the middle. Now on live streams, they do. They might. It's possible. So live video has definite features that sometimes work even better than if we were to put a edited version of Zach. The thing about Zach and the way he does his woodworking, he just makes these offhand remarks that I think are just hilarious. But he doesn't even catch it because he's not joking. So the short is one of those. But you could watch the whole video and see if you spot those. And he says things. Now an edited version though is probably going to look like an infomercial. And that is usually what people will. So if you are using long form content on YouTube, I can give you some personal reflection. Don't make it about whatever you're selling. Don't make it about whatnot. Don't make it about eBay. Make it about making sandwiches for a fraction of the price. And then just kind of casually, hey guys, I've got to run to the post office and get these whatnot orders out. You can see I got a lot of work to do here. So we're just going to imagine that I finished steps 5 through 7. Things like that, just kind of work it in naturally as you can, and people will get the message. But they really do not want to see a glossy infomercial where, use our woodworking facility for all your custom needs. No. I'm in my basement. Did anybody know that? See, now I'm thinking of things I could have quizzed the audience about. I'm going to go, and we're going to keep wrapping. We're going to wrap this up within the hour. The one thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I got when I won giveaways on Whatnot. Now, there's a lot of urban legends. People sometimes think, well, if you win a giveaway, they might be disappointed or they might not receive a free item. You can get free items through giveaways. And showing you that, again, it's just more social proof that's now out in the world. It's the custom wood burning, fact. It's fact. So I got all these cute little things. Now, the thing about doing live unboxings as a seller, because, we learn about all these little nuances, I really have to preview what this stuff is in the offhand chance that somebody sent something inappropriate as a prank. Or just got it mixed up. I don't know how this stuff happens. But I'm gonna first start with Blazendary. I always get really good giveaways from Blazendary. Blazendary is a case study on how to use Whatnot and how to really build a unique audience. And I'm going to mention this, not to slight Blazendary, but the sellers who have the largest audience views on Whatnot don't necessarily get a lot of live viewers on YouTube. So just keep these things in mind. YouTube is a much bigger sample size. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong, but what works on Whatnot doesn't necessarily carry over to YouTube. And what works on YouTube, you've got to be a little more precise with Whatnot. Is it interesting? I went to school with a woman who, that's the only comment she would ever say. She'd say, interesting. You can take it however you want to take it. Okay, so this is actually a 5-finger death punch, a little bit too ambitious with size, so I will resell this, and I'm not embarrassed. It's tagged as a small. I'm going to just assume this is unisex, but to me it looks like a women's. Why don't we just say women's cut? And it actually has tour dates, and I wonder if any of these took place based on the year. So I don't know how rare or valuable this is, but this was interesting. So he always sends really fun stuff, really cool stuff. Different audience and different vibe, definitely. And he also has a YouTube channel. And he also had taken a huge pause from YouTube when he started doing Whatnot. And I'm going to mention something, knowing that better use of time, yeah, it's much better spent on Whatnot for Blazendary. He can definitely drive a lot more business through Whatnot than he could ever get with YouTube. Just how it is. I don't want to get into all of the particulars because I'm not monetized with YouTube. I'm not bitter about that, but I'm impatient. So this is Tristina, Tristina. So it sounds like Christina, but it starts with the letter T. Tristina. She is an artist. She is another example. I have so many examples of people using YouTube, parallel to Whatnot for an even bigger, better something. Okay, so I want to give away from Tristina. And this, I just kind of wanted to show you. She put a sticker and a stamp. And so she created a nice opening impression. And these are paints or something, paints or dyes or something. Here is one thought, folks. Even if you have a variety of things, because I chose these colors, choose them for the person. Don't wait and ask the person to make the choice, because in real time that does lose sales. So I'm not hating on people. I'm just mentioning I got to pick these colors, but I don't think she should have let me. I think she should have said, I think you'll like the gold, and I think you'll like, what was it? Indigo. Tristina is a professional, commercial, successful working artist, and she is sponsored by a French paint company. So the stuff that she shows us on Whatnot truly is her generosity and sharing her work. She does not work for Whatnot. From what I understand, they do not pay her, but every week she does an art lesson. You can watch it live on Whatnot, which you'll get the better value or experience from, because she tries to keep up with that chat. And you can also watch it on YouTube. And you can watch her replays on YouTube going back more than a decade. And that is phenomenal because she is so versatile. I need to speed things up with these packages. Now, what would be perfect is if we had some custom branding. That only helps the buyer. You might think it's going too far. It really isn't. These all start looking alike. Okay, so please, custom branding, or also, like a flyer, a sales flyer for your upcoming shows or thank you notes. I did verify with Whatnot. You are allowed to have those in your packages. And I got this fun sticker. Okay, this is a good example. I'm not deceived by this because I think you mentioned it was going to be a sticker. But if you are going to give somebody a sticker of a sneaker, please don't say, sneaker sticker. Sometimes it's really how we word it, because we just stop paying attention as soon as we hear what we think we wanted to hear, which is why these shows fizzle out. And it's funny to me because usually you get the best stuff at the end. So here we go. This has a packing slip in it. Usually if I was doing this as a full fair comparison, I'm going to tell you how I rate seller packaging. Number one, it needs to be clean and professional. Number two, it has to have a packing slip. And number three, it has to have the correct item. If you hit those 3 points, I'm going to give you 5 stars. With giveaways, I'm very likely to give 5 stars, even if you missed one of the points, because as a seller, I know you took your own time and money to do that. So I think you should get a little reward there. So yeah, every time I win a giveaway, you should be happy. because you're very likely to get a 5-star positive review. If you don't know how to write 5-star positive reviews, you can just cut and paste some of the stuff I've used. Okay, here we go. So, whose show was that? It was some motivational. This is actually, so they don't have their seller name on it, on here. I think it probably is on the packaging. So I know who it is though. They do a lot of shipping tutorials and they go really long. So I've always stopped at 1 hour, but they do much longer shipping tutorials. They probably have one right now. It's Discount, D-I-Z, I think, Discount Hustlers. So if you want a more detailed explanation, that's their style. We all basically give out the same information if we're, spreading truth, but we do it differently. We have a different style. This is actually a seller I really enjoy, even though I've never made a purchase from, because it's really not something I myself, thank you, Custom Wood Burning, for tagging Discount Hustlers. So you guys can just go right there if you click the gray box. Okay, so Shop with Asher. I do it purely for entertainment. They're in the sneaker category. It's not a category that I shop. And I like to sample different categories because I get my best ideas from other sellers. And sometimes little things that I notice in other categories actually would work extremely well in some of the categories I sell in. So I like to get that creative inspiration. But they do personal shopping, and that's different than what a lot of sneaker and shoe sellers do, which is just high volume. Size 9 men's, done. Size 3 ladies, done. They do personal shopping. They specifically want you to use your device, go to the shop tab, find a pair of sneakers you want them to pull, and then they'll do that. They'll actually go get the sneakers you're interested in. So in theory, if you use that feature, you can save a lot of time, maybe even get a sweet deal. But because this is a concept that's new to the category, or it's just not the normal format, it has to be explained. And it also has to basically be re-explained every 5 minutes because people are moving in and out. And what a fantastic thing to put on YouTube, like how they do their shopping differently. Don't make it a big commercial though. And there could be any number of things like, hey, I need to borrow your phone. Ding, ding, ding. Be careful who you let borrow your phone. The Naked Maple, are you still here? You missed your moment if you're not. The Naked Maple, I would love to see branding, please. Plain white envelope is what the mail class is called. It doesn't mean it has to come in that package. It can come in any standard envelope, and you are allowed to brand on it. So I want to give away, and she sent me an art trading card that actually was made by another Whatnot seller. So she is like doing the full loop. She's promoting her show, her brand, rewarding her audience, and then she's also introducing another Whatnot seller. So how fantastic is that? I guess I should hold this up a little bit closer. Here's another enclosure I got. This is the first time I've seen this. Does anybody else use this, or is this something specifically maple? I'd like to know, because handmade, that is definitely something to, call attention to spotlight, to highlight. We're doing so good on time because I've got about 2 minutes. I don't see any unanswered questions, but do watch the replay. If you think that I didn't fully answer your question, I may have talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. This is from a seller. It's a really pretty pink tumbler. How fantastic is that? Free. So who's the seller? This one would get 100% perfect score. Halftime Deals. Halftime Deals sent me that pink tumbler. So all these different sellers in different categories, even if I haven't bought from them, they're sending me the items that I win in giveaways. And it's just a random drawing. And even if it seems like it's somehow skewed, I do have my own theory about that. which is anytime you're dealing with a small number of less than 100, you will never get statistically valid results. I remember that from high school. I don't think it's changed. This is Shop 801 Lane. I got some socks. I really enjoy her shows as well. She has a YouTube channel. Watch some of her videos. She has a different style than what I do. And whoever you enjoy, because ultimately, the more choices there are, the better experience for everybody on YouTube, as well as Whatnot. So don't go anywhere, because we're going to raid somebody if you're on Whatnot. But until the next time I see you, I hope you can stay home to shop. Now we're raiding someone, though. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to surprise someone. We're going to surprise Bunny's Treasures, who hand makes bath and body products. So do ask questions, because this is something fantastic. Let's raid into Bunny and hope she's selling some of that.